Good job, Tom. We almost had to pick you up off the floor.
Okay. Good? Ready? All right. All right, I'm Gail with Anvil International. Just to get started here today, I just want to say, thank you to IPS. We had a great year with you guys. Increased sales about 9.5–10% for our fiscal year. That's a good increase throughout the year, so I just want to thank everybody for their efforts. On the groove side, we're up about 11%, so we're heading in the right direction finally on the groove lock side. Hopefully this year, it's starting to move a little bit more each year. Hopefully this year we'll see a much better increase on that. I'm not going to go into the groove side. I'm going to let John do that. What I am going to touch on today is our hanger line. Just going to go through the pictorial with you guys and kind of walk you through, like each of the hangers, just to let you know where you're going to sell them, who you're going to sell them to. These are all copper tubing hangers, so they're pretty self-explanatory. I mean, they're just virtually for copper tubing, just for suspending it in the air. The pipe alignment guides, they're just keeping the pipe, straight. I mean, these are going to be most of your plumbing items here. Ceiling flanges, when they're mounting something from the ceiling, obviously they're going to use the ceiling flanges. CPVC pipe hangers, I mean, that's just nothing more than what they are. Again, I guess this is kind of going down. Pipe alignment guides, keeping your pipe straight. The ceiling flanges. Your pipe rings, I mean, that's just suspending the pipe in the air, just different options of the way to do it. Obviously, the contractors are going to be telling you guys, giving you a list of what they're looking to for you guys to quote. Clevis hangers, again, these being suspended in the air. Our standard clevis hangers, the lightweight hangers is our figure 65. Standard clevis hanger is our figure 260. 260 ISS, we've gone over this before. That's our clevis hanger with our insulation saddle system in the bottom. We've got this little saddle system here. It's patented by Anvil, so nobody else has this out there. It actually eliminates the shield that the contractors have to use. So that's just another alternative for the clevis hangers. Steel pipe clamps, just your riser clamps, just different options of the riser clamps. Again, these are just different options. Your customers are going to be giving you exactly what their figure numbers that they're looking for. Beam clamps, they're just attaching to the beams. I mean, the contractors, mainly are using these. Again, they're going to specify what they're looking for. Brackets. I mean, these are just mounting brackets. Several different options of mounting brackets. Ceiling plates, I mean, those are just mounting to the ceiling. Your hangers are coming off of those. Concrete inserts, those are just being mounted, when the guys are laying concrete. Obviously, they needed some mounting options, so these just lay in the concrete itself. Rod attachments, I mean, these are just for your rod, the thread rod attachments going to the other hangers themselves. U-bolts, everybody knows what a U-bolt is. And a strap is just basically a strap, like your copper tubing or whatever to, like boards or for your plumbing guys. Pipe supports, these are just like pipe stands. Obviously some different configurations here. The engineers are going to be specifying kind of what the pipe supports are. Obviously there's some information that is needed on these as far as like weights and dimensions of your piping, things of that nature. Pipe shields and saddles, a couple different configurations. The figure 167 is predominantly the standard pipe shield that we use today, just offered in galvanized. We don't offer, sometimes the contractors ask for the clevis hanger with the shield tack welded on. We don't have an option to do that today. We're talking about obviously having that offer in the near future. Pipe rolls. These are just to actually, your pipe actually sits on these to allow for movement movement. Pipe guides, you know, again, to keep the piping straight, we have a couple different configurations, again, spec'd out by the engineers. Sway braces, structural attachments, some restraints. I mean, that's obviously, you know, pretty self-explanatory. Spring hangers. Now, these are engineered hangers. We don't expect you guys to know anything on spring hangers. These are all information gathered by the engineer. There's actually, on the mechanical drawings, you'll find all of the information needed for these. You know, I wouldn't even be able to size these up. What we ask for you guys to do is actually gather that information from your contractor or put us in contact with your contractor. We'll get all the information that's needed. We take it back to our engineers. They size everything up as to what's, you know, the information on the drawings, and then they'll come back to you with the bill of material of what is actually needed and sized up properly. So this is just something, you know, typically where you're going to see these is like steam applications, refineries, the mechanicals on their drawings. I mean, you know, when these mechanical guys or mechanical contractors are bidding their jobs, most likely there's going to be special, you know, engineered hangers on them. Like I said, if you can get the actual drawing itself, we can take it from there and then come back to you with a quote. Usually takes a couple days for our guys. Obviously, they have to be configured, you know, for the weights and dimensions and loads and so on and so forth. So, you know, it takes a couple days to actually get a quote back on these. It's not a fast-paced item. Typical turnaround time, depending on, you know, it's just a standard spring hanger, could be 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes 2 to 4 weeks, but the standard's usually about 4 to 6 weeks. Snubbers, the same thing. Sway strut assembly, you know, that's all an engineered hanger. You know, nothing really for you guys to you know, to dive into. And that's it for hangers. Anybody have any questions on hangers or applications? Okay. The H-block? Okay, this is a new product that we came out with about a year ago. It's our H-block. It's our rooftop support system. I don't think you guys are currently stocking these. We have them accessible. We do not stock them in PA. We have them in Chicago and Texas, but they're readily available for you guys. It does nothing more than, this is a 100% recycled product. It's made of 100% rubber. It actually sits on like rooftops to support your, you know, rooftop units. It comes, could you go to the next page, please? Oh, I'm sorry, here, I probably have here, sorry. Okay, so it comes in different configurations. You can actually order, you know, say you need it already with the strut assembly on it. It comes in different configurations. They come in different lengths. So you guys have pricing structure on these. There's pallet pricing and then there's individual pricing on them. But I mean, the contractors virtually is who's buying, you know, obviously they're buying these to set all of their rooftop units and whatnot. Also, the solar guys, the solar panel guys, are using a ton of these for the solar panel units that they're placing. You know, whether you cross any paths with guys like that or not. But I mean, these things, it's an inexpensive item, really easy to sell. I mean, I've got guys that actually just buy pallet after pallet after pallet of these. It's just, you know, you've got to get out there and promote it. There's not a whole lot really to know. I mean, years ago they used to, this support used to be a wooden block. New laws coming in and out, you know, they're requiring something more that's sustainable other than the wooden block. And the wooden block over time obviously rots and you know, just dissipates over time. So that's pretty much it on the H-block system. Any questions on that?
That kind of compete with Myra.
Yes. Yeah. Bob and I, you know, we've talked about pricing, and I've got some information for you on that. We're not quite there competitive-wise, but okay. The cross-reference standard. On our website, we actually have a cross-reference sheet for all of our hangers. It's kind of small, but you can see, you know, we've got Beeline and Tolco and Airco and pretty much all of the top hanger guys. You can cross-reference their numbers. There you go. Thanks, John. their figure numbers over to our figure numbers. So, you know, when you're sending a list over, if you guys don't want to go through that whole route, I just wanted to show you this, that it is accessible on our website. You can always send it over to us and we can cross-reference it over for you. Sure. Just, yeah, sure. Catalog first. All right, strut. You guys are selling some of our strut, maybe missing the boat with the contractors as far as packaging it with other products. Anvil strut, we have a manufacturing facility in New Jersey and a manufacturing facility in Texas. So readily available. We stock a fair amount in Columbia, just kind of all of your standards in Columbia. We also stock 316, 304, any other, you know, non-stock or, you know, non-standard strut besides your engine 5/8 or your back-to-back, we would pull from our New Jersey facility. Basically, all it is you know, a various, you know, strut line with all these strut components with your accessories, your brackets, spring nuts, things of that nature. It's a full line of strut. I'm not going to go through the whole catalog. I just wanted to touch on it. How about the strut cross-reference guide? We also offer, you know, make it easily accessible for you guys, a strut cross-reference guide, again, with all the, you know, predominantly, you know, name brand strut guys out there. So we make it, sometimes on the brackets, they're, you know, your contractor sends over a list and says, okay, I want, you know, such and such strut, 3/8 spring nuts, and a bracket. Well, what bracket do you want? You know, our catalog is online, or you know, you guys order enough literature, you can order, you know, catalogs to hand out to your contractors. If they could be more specific, I mean, we offer so many different brackets and so many different configurations that your guys have really got to be specific on it. Because if we offer something, and, you know, we're competing against you know, one of our competitors in a pricing standpoint, you know, we might not be quoting the, you know, apples for apples. So if we can clarify exactly what they're looking for, that would be a huge help. Now on hangers, you know, it's kind of like the groove lock piece. We can special price hangers on projects. You know, we've got some good stiff competition in our backyard. You know, Parker and Patterson, they'll sell to you. They'll sell direct to the contractor. National Pipe Hanger, the same. So it makes it a little tough for Anvil to compete against those guys when they're selling direct to your customers. So to keep it competitive, you know, we obviously give you guys a good stocking, you know, program, but beyond that, if we get into a list, I mean, your contractors, you know, they've got to be hanging the pipe with something. So when you're getting the grooved opportunities, get the hanger opportunity as well, along with the strut, along with, you know, the H blocks. But just keep asking questions when you're getting these lists, like, hey, you know, where are you buying? You know, you give me the groove list. Where are you buying your strut? Where are you buying da 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 da? You know, we can special price this stuff just like a you know, a groove lock job per project. And we can put in, you know, like a POD sheet in the system. We can hold it for a certain amount of time, just like, you know, just like a groove product. So, you know, don't hesitate in calling. If you think it's, you know, well, maybe it doesn't, you look at the list and say, oh, well, it doesn't look like a whole lot. I mean, call me or send it to me. I'll be more than happy to take a look at it. We can always, you know, we can always see if it's worth special pricing it. Our website. Now, I'm going to, if anybody doesn't have any questions on the hanger, strut, H block, no? Okay, I'm going to move on. Just want to touch a little bit on our website. We get a lot of calls internally. Our inside sales staff gets a lot of calls for certificates, CFCs, maybe like recycling certificates, how to do a submittal. You know, if you could email me over a submittal. You guys can do this off of our website. Our website is super easy, friendly. This is, if you go into the website, which is just anvilintl.com, or you just put in Anvil, it'll pop up. This is what our website looks like. If you go up here to this right-hand corner, punch in like a figure number, say it's a hanger number or a groove lock number. John, just punch in like a 7041. Whatever, that's fine. That's fine. And just hit on that. It'll actually, whatever.
Come on, John. Don't even start sweating.
Okay, so John Dannaker does not know how to use our website. I'll train him later.
Well, you said it was easy.
I'm getting it. Why is it not, I think it's,
Just hit it. Not working? You know why? Because you have it on your zip drive.
No, we're coming right up on the internet. It just came right up on the internet.
It's, I'll try that. See if it at least takes us to the next one I'm trying to get to. All right, so we're not going to learn how to look up an item. It does really good.
if we get this way, usually we if you want to do group, say, you go to group, group product, it'll go over to group lock, it'll ask you for couplings, and then it'll give you every one of our couplings right here. So if Gail wanted
So
to...
click on one of those, John.
Yep, there you go, 7401.
Okay, so instead of going through that whole process, what I'm trying to do is eliminate that process. You go to that right-hand corner there and punch in that. This is what should have came up. So this gives you, obviously everything about that coupling. It'll ask you, well, the other part actually has, like right above here, it'll ask you if you want to do a submittal on it. You click submittal and it gives you all of your technical information.
Submittals are...
Okay,
Yeah, they've changed it to the bottom now.
okay,
If you go to the bottom, it has changed.
okay. So then that just takes you to your submittal and print that out and give it to your customers. Or if you're not, comfortable doing submittals, John and I are certainly here to assist you guys on that.
On the bottom here, you can actually type in, your project, your contractor. You can actually fill this out for your contractor also.
Okay, can you just go back to the... to the website?
Here? Oh, there you go.
Just take the close the top tab. Yeah, you could just close that.
Okay, so if you go on, this is just the tabs of our virtually of the website. Once you log in, you can go over order literature. It'll take you to literature. Just log down, jot down catalogs, price sheets. All of the information is right there, and it's super, like I said, it's super user friendly. If you go onto the catalogs, go ahead, John, click on that. It'll give you the front page of every one of our catalogs. You guys can actually order this literature yourself right offline. Now, there's going to be, limited quantities as to what you order. John, I think you do most of the ordering for the office.
Yeah, for catalogs, they're usually...
Not anymore.
Not anymore? Okay.
I think they do a case, I think they're really good at a case.
Okay.
each.
Or pipe fitter handbooks might be, maybe a dozen or so at a time. They're pretty limited with those. Our competition who has the pipe fitter handbooks, actually, they charge for them, we don't. So that's why they're limited to those. So anyway, so there's, like literature and price sheets, project acceleration. It just shows you, what projects we've done throughout the year, the history on them, what type of projects. Videos of on the group block side up. John can go into that when he goes, touches on the group block piece. Engineering resources. I mean, this goes down like design services, pipe hanger assemblies. We have a whole book, on the pipe hanger side of assemblies of how you can give it to the contractor. It's pretty extensive. It shows you different configurations and spacing and so on and so forth of how pipe is hung, and just there's a ton of information on here. If you guys have never been on our website, call in the office for this information. You can get it at your fingertips. It'll save you time, and obviously it'll save our people time. Certifications, if you can click on that, John. I get a lot of calls for certifications, made in product, the product's made in USA. It's all right here at your fingertips. You can go on, click, like our Columbia plant. It'll give us, you know, like if we're ISO certified, things of that nature. You know, for instance, here's our certificate of compliance for malleable iron, you know, that it's made, melted, processed in Columbia, PA. Okay, let's just go back to the meeting. Pretty much just our brands here. I mean, that'll go down to like, you know, that'll just break it down virtually per catalog. And then the industries as to, you know, what type of industries we actually, you know, what our markets are as far as like the grooved and malleable and forged steel. And that's pretty much, I mean, that's it in a nutshell for our website. I mean, it's very, very accessible. It's easy to use. So there's a whole bunch of literature there that you guys have access to. And that's pretty much it for my piece. I'm going to hand it over to John. He's going to touch on some groove lock. Any questions? Anybody?
What do you think we're, in the engineered hangers, there's a fair amount of that out there. We do a very small portion of that. Just give these kind of guys an idea.
To tell you the truth,
It's substantial.
No, honestly, because I think the engineered part, it kind of scares, you know, sales guys off.
Right.
A lot of distributors don't, I mean, they don't even come to us for that. We actually, our North Kingston plant, they have sales guys on the street that are going, already hitting up the refineries, making sure we're in the specs, making sure they don't miss out on projects. They have their own sales force out there. So for us to get it is kind of like a given piece, if you will. You know, we do a fair amount of it. You know, is it hundreds of thousands of dollars? Absolutely not. But when we do get opportunities, it could be several $1,000s. You know, the contractors who are looking, you know, if you say, hey, look, you know, we can do engineered hangers for you, they're like, oh, you can, that's great. All you need to do is get, you know, their drawing with all of the information on it, and I can guide you through it, and then we can price them up, and it's kind of like a given. I mean, it's really like found work. And you know, you don't really have to, you don't need to know anything about it. You just put it in our hands.
But even a couple hangers are not a couple of dollars.
No, absolutely not. I mean, just your very inexpensive spring hangers is maybe $200 each. You know, and then it goes up from there. I mean, some of them are several $1,000s each. It just depends what the configurations are and, you know, how intense they are. But you know, they're built to order. I mean, they're not sitting on a shelf. They're built to order. But, you know, as far as missing the boat on them, yeah, I mean, I think you should definitely be talking to contractors about. I mean, that's where you're gonna get the spring hangers from, is the big, you know, mechanical contractors. When you're out there talking about it, say, hey, look, we represent Anvil. We're a stacking distributor for Anvil. Well, where do you go for your spring hangers? So, you know, it's just something else to talk to them about. I mean, every time you make a sales call, you certainly want to go in there with, you know, new information, and that's certainly something new. Anything else? Talk about. All right, John. Well, thanks, guys. Certainly appreciate everything you guys have done in 2013, and we appreciate, you know, we look forward to 2014. We'll find a little bit more savvy than you are.
Okay, sorry about that. I had one comment made this morning that on a cold day like today, if I start sweating, then they're going to call the ambulance. But I do get nervous. So. There's a couple changes with as far as groove lock is concerned. One of the big changes is, and that'll come into your play here when you're selling to universities and schoolwork especially, and government work, is we have a new compliance sheet of the Made in America sheet for our groove lock. As you know, you have your compliance for Made in America, you have your compliance for domestic content. Our old sheet just said Made in Columbia, PA. Our new sheet now will have much more information on it. It actually spells out the the American Recovery Act, it spells out Made in USA, and then it lists the products that are made in USA. Had one call the other day about Vicolic refusing to comply to Made in America, and it had to do with bolts. So we actually have that on there now. So, and it was for the quick fit. So our old sheet didn't mention just that, just that the couplings were made in USA. This sheet is much better, and it was just updated in December. So this is brand new, and I'm glad it contains a lot more information. Last meeting we had with on one of our meeting here when I was here was we went over the Made in USA, the Recovery Act, by Pennsylvania Steel Act. This covers the Recovery Act and the Made in USA. This covers most of what they're asking for in the PA Steel Act. So this is a great piece of literature to go for. So that is on our website, or you can just email me. I can forward it to you, or I can forward it to Jim or whoever, and you could make copies for them. But this is great to replace with the old sheet you had before. We're going to go to the full line sheet, Gail, which is there you go. Okay. Last time I was here, we did the full line chart versus Vicolic, and I've added something on there. Well, I'm just going to go through this real quickly. Again, groove fittings, you can see we comply with everything. When we get to the added, these are the old compliant sheets. But all of the groove fittings, all of our ductile iron fittings, we comply with every specification. On the AGS system, and we'll go over this with large diameter, the AGS system is imported, and their groove does not comply with the AWWA 606 standard. We'll go over that when we have the large diameter coupling. But again, that is a very important piece of literature there.
Down, these are page down, yeah, it should be page down.
What I've added, and we're going to go over this in a minute, is our slide lock. Everyone knows what our slide lock competes against. It's against the 107, the quick fit. What I've done here is, and this is brand new, is I've gone through the 7402 slide lock against the Vicolic 107H quick fit for steel piping. All of the approvals on the ductile iron and the power piping, the ANSI power piping, the ASTM numbers are all the same. I'm going to go just quickly because I have a slide on this. Our gasket is a 4-seal patented type gasket, which theirs is only 2-seal. We'll show you this. Theirs is a actual push on where the end of the pipe is obstructed. Ours, you have full view of the pipe end, so you can align it level and make sure you're not pinching or being off center. And then all of the pressure and the end loads, as you can see, we match every one. So when they say that they have a stronger joint, not so. They'll say that, but it's all the same. We need all the end loads and all the pressure PSIs all the way through 8-inch. We have a total, on our couplings, we have those anti-rotational tines. We have a total of 6. We have 3 tines on each coupling half. They have 1 on each half. So ours is a much stronger, we have 3 tines biting into the end of the pipe. They have 1 on there. So it's a much stronger joint. It's not going to roll. Pad to pad, yes, we do comply to pad. We'll show that on the video. They say that you have to use a torque wrench, but I'll show you in the installation video where you can look at this and see if it's a flat pad to pad or if it's cocked either way. You'll see if it's either been over torqued or under torqued. the use of a torque wrench is not needed. Branch connections, again, we comply with the makeup of the mechanical tees. The one thing that we're better than them is the gasket. We're 250, they're only 230 on the gasket. Flanges, comply to everything on the flanges. Our gasket is 250, theirs is still 230, so we comply on that. I'm going to go over the new flange, the 7788, or the 7788 and 7088, and we're going to go over that in a minute. Butterfly valves, 300 psi dead end service. That's 14 12. Butterfly valves, 2 through 12, 300-pound dead end service. They say the 300 master seal is a high performance because of 300 psi, but we comply with everything. Now, the one thing that we've noticed with you guys with some sales and some replacements, they've had some issues with their discs and body deteriorating because it's not coated. Our Teflon coating throughout disc and EPDM disc and coating of the body eliminates that, and you guys have done a great job on some sales replacing that and giving the customer a longer life body. 14 and above 7700s. The only difference we have here is, as far as that is just remember, our 300 psi and 200 psi on ours. Ours is actually a flange by flange butterfly valve in the middle with 2 flange adapters on the side. So that's the biggest only difference there. Ball valves, again, ball valves. Give Gail or I if you get into any groove ball valves, give us a call. We need to check availability. The only one we need to check availability on is our stainless steel ball and stem, but we're working on that. So please give us a call on ball valves.
Yeah, we outsource our ball valves, so we're in the middle of changing manufacturers, so we're kind of short on some sizes. That's what John means by that. So just give us a call and check obviously availabilities.
Again, our pump specialties, suction diffusers, triple duty valves. Don't walk away from anything around a pump. We can usually be very competitive on between B&G, Keiko, on the suction diffusers, triple duty valves, strainers. Strainers, we have T strainers, we have Y strainers, silent check valves for around the pump. Silent check valves, they do not have a silent check valve, they only have the flapper type. But we do have a silent check valve for around the pump. Balancing valves, the standard balancing valves, half through 2, threaded or sweat. And then balancing valves 2 through 12, 2.5 through 12. Again, comply to all the specifications. Again, the meters for the balancing valves. Dielectric pipe connections, dielectric nipples, flex connectors. They do not have flex connectors. We do, so you can be competitive with that. Just give us a shot. And our CTS copper, our grooved copper. Again, our grooved copper is to 250. Theirs is to 230. And the roll grooves are now interchangeable. So our old style of the advanced groove, where it's iron pipe size, that is no longer being stocked. All of our copper is now CTS copper tubing size. Any questions on that? So again, the sheet that I handed out to you before, it's the same except for I've added the slide lock. Okay. We'll go back here to slide lock presentation. Slide lock. I'm going to go through this quickly. Let's see if I can do this right. Slide lock. Again, we have a rigid coupling. Our coupling is rigid for steel pipe. It's the installation ready. Our design. There's our gasket. Our design. Theirs is the standard C 2 seals on either side. Ours is patented 4-seal pressure responsive gasket. Instead of 2 seals, we have 4 seals. So it's and then 1, 2, 3, 4. It's still pressure responsive, but we have actually 4. When this is tightened down, this actually comes in contact with the A dimension of the pipe, so you have 4 seals instead of 2. We have a leading edge here. You see where the rounded edge is leading edge, where when you push that onto the pipe, it eliminates any pinching, or when you throw it on, it eliminates the pinching on the gas. 4-seal technology, pressure responsive, 4 sealing rings, sealing edge, eliminate gasket pinching, and all of our push on are 250. We recommend the use of the stream loop in either the heating and cooling, and also domestic water systems. Installation, we're going to go through the installation video, but you can see where you push it all over, you can actually see the end of the pipe. So when you're pulling the connection over, you can align this properly, evenly, so it's not off center, causing any type of pinching or gasket issues. Again, same process on fittings. We talked about the 360-degree groove engagement with the tines. Again, anything to do with any type of actuator on the top, it's not going to roll 3 tines compared to 6 tines compared to 2. Designed pad to pad. You can do an impact wrench or a socket connection. Final assembly, when you're doing pad to pad, like I was talking about before, you're looking for, when you tighten it down, both sides evenly, you're looking for an even pad to pad installation. Improper installation, if it's tightened down too much, you'll have this type of angle, so you know you've tightened it down too much. Or not enough torque, you'll have that gap there. Like I said, it's a visual inspection of pipe torque, of coupling torque. Ductile iron complies, bolts comply. Like I said, our bolts are domestic. All standard, zinc electroplated. Pressures up through 8-inch, 750 psi up through 5-inch, and 706, and 8 inches 600 psi. The end loads are exactly the same as the 107. So it is exactly the same, plus your added anti-rotational, plus your 4 seal instead of 2. So our coupling, I'm not going to say superior, but our coupling is plus domestic.
Superior, yeah.
Plus domestic.
Superior.
Any questions on we're using all of the, George can tell you, we're using all of the 7402s at Master Mechanical at Maple Manor, and they're going through 6-inch on that. Everything's going great. We were up there about a month ago to see Dwayne, and everything's going great up there. They don't have one issue at all. What do we got next? Installation video.
Yeah.
Slide by installation video.
Did you try this? There we go. There we go.
As you can see, you do not take apart any of the bolts. It comes installation ready. You hit with the lubricant, and that's the same as the 107. It's not pre-lubed. So you still have to lubricate the inside coupling. Place it on over the end. This is where you can see the end of the pipe. The collet, you cannot see the end of the pipe, so you're stabbing blind. Center of the pipe, hand tighten it, so it's just hand tight over the ends of the pipe. And then your impact wrench, make sure your customers do not go too much on one side evenly. Go back and forth evenly until you can see that they have that straight pad to pad, metal to metal finished connection. And you walk away. Any questions on the installation? Go to the 7788 flange valve. Everyone know we have this flange adapter compared to our 7012s. This 7788 is a ductile iron one-piece item. We have it through 12-inch. We have it in 150-pound bolt pattern. We do not have 300-pound bolt pattern, so if you want 300-pound bolt pattern, you have to go to our 7013 or our 7084 in 300-pound dimensions. The one big issue here, the one big benefit you have here is it's a one-piece. It's direct mount to any flange. That's a serrated standard 150-pound flange. Where you're going to a butterfly valve, you're going to another flange, it's direct mount. No need for a sealing ring, no need for any extra material, but it goes way up to that. This dimension right here is much smaller than the old 7084, the fabricated piece where it was 6 inches long. This is only about 2 inches long, I believe, right here. So you have a shorter dimension than if you were getting the old style. That's prefabricated, and that's steel pipe. Pricing, obviously, this is going to require a coupling to go along with it. So the customer is going to think, well, I have to buy an extra piece. It's going to be more expensive. No, we've designed it so that when you place it, when you do price it up with a coupling, it comes to just even about what you were paying with a 7012 or a 7012.
Is there a specific coupling that you recommend?
Whichever coupling, no, it would be, if you're hooking this up to a piece of equipment that's going to vibrate, obviously use a flexible coupling, or just a standard PVC, the 7401. Depends on the application, but they'll all work. I think I had Gail on there, the 7012. This is the old stick. Well, you still have this style. You have the option of the 7788. As you can see, you have the bolts. You have the rubber flange adapter. Again, if you were hooking this up to a butterfly valve that has a rubber seat, you'd have to use our seal ring. So if you were going to use our 7788, it would go directly to the butterfly valve. Okay. Let's go to the 7401-2. We're competing against AGS every day of the week. They're going to say that their AGS system is a stronger system and it's a two-piece instead of your multi-housing section when you get into large diameter. We have the 7402 to compete with that. This goes up through 24-inch, two-piece on all sizes up through 24-inch. We have it in the okay, EP gasket up through 250 psi. Their large diameter is 230. Yeah. Also, when you're using this coupling compared with the AGS system, this is about 18 or 20% lighter than theirs. They have the wider system. Ours is standard grooves. Remember, this is an import item, two-piece import item. If the project requires domestic, then you have to go back to the 7401, standard 7401. But these are import items, which, so is their AGS system. We have that in 7001-2, flexible. Same configuration, two-piece up through 24, same as their 77W, their AGS. Again, same configuration, same imported item, just lighter and less labor because of the two-piece. Our 7000-2 and our 7401-2, when you assemble them, it is pad to pad. So they'll go through that with you. The actual pressure ratings, 350 PSI, same as the AGS. So it's just as strong of a joint. We're going to go to the large diameter presentation. Okay. This is going to give you your options on the large diameter. When we're competing against AGS, they're always going to tell the customers that it's a much stronger joint. Theirs won't hold the PSI manuals. Again, we have the 7401 and the 7001, 16 through all the way through 24, 16 through 24. The flexible and the rigid. Again, globally sourced. The actual gaskets are domestic. What we were talking about, the AWWA 6C606 is ours is standard. Theirs is not standard. Standard groove. PSI, same, 350 all the way through, 350. No special fittings, meaning the AGS, they're not interchangeable. No special valves. 23% less. These coupling halves all the way through are, I was a little low on that, are at least 23% less heavy than the other ones. That's going to benefit the guy in the field. You all listed, next one. Bolts and nuts, housing, everything is equals theirs. EP gasket all the way through to 250. Okay, here's their AGS system. It's longer, it's heavier. Does not meet that's a whole different groove, so they would need a different roll groove machine on the site. Again, ours are much lighter. The tool itself, they can't go and get a rigid machine. They can't go and get a paste machine. They have to buy the machine from the collar, and it's a very expensive piece of equipment. So if you had a job that was 2.5 through 24, you'd need two actual machines on the site. Ours, all the way through 24, is the same machine, same group. Any questions on AGS compared to our two-piece or our four-piece? Let's see. Oh, the CTS dielectric. If you need to go from iron pipe size to CTS, to copper tubing size, and you need dielectric, we have this 7091, it's groove by groove. It's same size. It would be, they say this is 3-inch, it would be 3-inch iron pipe size by 3-inch CTS copper tubing roll groove. So you can go right from a steel pipe, or if there's our old advanced system, you can go right from there to a CTS, and it also acts as a dielectric. You can see the dimensions here. It's actually dielectric nickels, but you're going in one piece from iron pipe size to copper tubing size in one piece. Any questions on? Any questions on CTS in general? We'll go through that when we get into the individual meetings. CTS, have we had any opportunities, anything out there as far as copper tubing on Maple Manor? No? Okay. All right. Any questions on Grooved? The one thing we did just recently was with Susan was the Heisey Mechanical. I'll just do a general deal about that. Their machine was called on the site. Their machine was our machine. They were road grooving large diameter stainless steel. It was running off. It turned out that the reason was setup. So any questions on road grooving, any questions on field installation, please give us a call. It could be something as simple as using one of the level on the road grooving machine. It's not always the machine. Any questions? No? Thank you.
Thank you.
That's
You need that?